What if wisdom is not something you read about, but something you witness, lived out through real human lives? What if the most powerful lessons in resilience, courage, and inner peace are not found in abstract theory, but in the choices people make under pressure? And what if the struggles of ancient philosophers are not so different from our own struggles today? These questions form the foundation of Lives of the Stoics by Ryan Holiday, a book that brings Stoic philosophy to life through the stories of the men and women who lived it. Rather than presenting Stoicism as a set of ideas alone, Holiday shows how Stoic principles were embodied in real people facing real adversity. Emperors, slaves, generals, politicians, teachers, and writers all appear in this book, united not by comfort but by hardship. Their lives reveal that Stoicism is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about meeting difficulty with strength, clarity, and virtue. The book begins with Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. Zeno lost everything in a shipwreck. His wealth, his possessions, his former identity were all taken from him in an instant. Instead of despairing, Zeno turned inward. He discovered philosophy not through privilege, but through loss. His misfortune became the foundation of Stoicism itself. From the beginning, Stoicism taught that adversity is not an obstacle to wisdom, but often the doorway to it. Holiday then introduces Cleanthes, Zeno's successor, who lived in extreme poverty while studying philosophy. Cleanthes worked as a water carrier at night so he could study during the day. He was mocked for his slow learning and humble background, yet he persevered with discipline and humility. Cleanthes demonstrates one of Stoicism's core lessons. Progress matters more than reputation. Strength comes from persistence, not praise. Another central figure in the book is Epictetus, born into slavery and physically disabled. Despite having no control over his circumstances, Epictetus became one of the most influential Stoic teachers in history. His life proves the central Stoic principle that freedom is internal. No one can enslave your mind unless you allow it. Epictetus taught that mastery over thoughts, judgments, and desires is the highest form of power. His teachings continue to guide millions centuries later. Holiday also explores the life of Seneca, a man who experienced both immense success and devastating downfall. Seneca was a wealthy statesman, advisor to an emperor, and one of Rome's most powerful figures. Yet his life was filled with exile, political danger, and moral tension. Seneca struggled with hypocrisy, fear, and compromise. His life reminds us that wisdom does not require perfection. It requires reflection, honesty, and continuous effort. Stoicism is not about being flawless. It is about striving to live better. One of the most compelling lives in the book is that of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, who ruled during war, plague, and constant pressure. Marcus did not seek power, he inherited it. Despite commanding armies and ruling an empire, Marcus remained deeply introspective. His personal journal, later known as Meditations, reveals a man constantly reminding himself to be patient, humble, fair, and disciplined. Marcus Aurelius shows that Stoicism can guide even those at the highest levels of responsibility. Power does not have to corrupt when guided by virtue. Holiday also includes lesser-known Stoics, whose stories are equally powerful. Musonius Rufus taught that philosophy should be practiced equally by men and women. He believed virtue had no gender. His progressive ideas challenged Roman norms and expanded Stoicism beyond elitism. Rufus shows that Stoicism is rooted in justice and equality, not hierarchy. Another powerful story is that of Cato the Younger, a man known for his uncompromising integrity. Cato refused to bend his values for political gain. He opposed corruption, resisted tyranny, and chose principle over survival. While controversial, Cato represents the Stoic commitment to virtue above all else. His life forces a difficult question. What is the cost of integrity, and is it worth paying? Holiday also explores the Stoic idea that philosophy is not about retreating from the world, but engaging with it responsibly. Many Stoics were active in politics, education, and public life. They did not withdraw into isolation. They stepped into chaos with discipline and restraint. Stoicism does not promise comfort, it promises clarity. A recurring theme throughout lives of the Stoics is the idea that adversity reveals character. Stoics were tested through exile, imprisonment, poverty, illness, and death. These experiences did not weaken them, they refined them. Hardship stripped away illusion and exposed what truly mattered. Stoicism teaches that difficulty is not an interruption of life, it is part of life. Holiday emphasizes that Stoicism is a philosophy of action. Stoics believed that knowledge without practice is meaningless. They trained themselves daily through reflection, self-discipline, and moral effort. Their lives were laboratories for philosophy. Every setback became an experiment. Every failure became instruction. Another important lesson from the book is the role of humility. Many Stoics warned against pride and ego. They understood that arrogance blinds judgment and invites downfall. True wisdom requires recognizing how little we control and how much we have to learn. Stoicism is not about feeling superior. It is about becoming steadier. The book also highlights the Stoic understanding of death. Many Stoics faced death calmly, not because they desired it, but because they accepted its inevitability. Awareness of mortality sharpened their sense of purpose. They lived deliberately because they knew time was limited. Death was not an enemy. It was a reminder to live well. Lives of the Stoics shows that Stoicism is not a single personality type. Stoics were bold and quiet, wealthy and poor, powerful and powerless. What united them was not circumstance, but character. They valued reason over reaction, virtue over comfort, and long-term integrity over short-term gain. Another key insight is that Stoicism is learned through example. Reading philosophy helps, but witnessing philosophy in action inspires transformation. Stories stay with us. Lives teach us what principles look like when tested by reality. This is why the lives in this book are so powerful. They make Stoicism human. Holiday also reminds us that Stoicism is not about emotional suppression. Stoics felt fear, grief, anger, and doubt. The difference is that they did not let these emotions dictate their actions. They trained themselves to pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom. Emotional mastery is not denial. It is discipline. The deeper message of Lives of the Stoics is that greatness is built quietly over time. It is built through daily choices, not dramatic moments. The Stoics did not wait for perfect conditions to live wisely. They practiced virtue in imperfect circumstances. That is why their lessons endure. The big takeaway from Lives of the Stoics is clear. Stoicism is not an abstract philosophy meant for scholars alone. It is a way of life practiced by flawed humans facing real struggles. You do not need to be a philosopher, leader, or emperor to live stoically. You only need the willingness to choose clarity over chaos, virtue over comfort, and purpose over impulse. So, which Stoic life inspires you most? The resilience of Epictetus? The discipline of Marcus Aurelius? The integrity of Cato? Or the humility of Cleanthes? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this summary, like this video, subscribe to 10-Minute Books, and tap the bell so you never miss our weekly deep dives into life-changing books. Remember, philosophy lives through people, and your life can become one of its greatest lessons.